I can phone my mom and say, I'm a hairdresser. It's also a little bit of psychology. Your purpose is not what you do. Your purpose is what happens to people when you do what you do. Every moment is precious, and life is but a set of moments.
I'm Franco. Thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. Yeah, so I always like to go back to your young self, because at times people see us as grown men and, they see our establishments and what we are doing now, and they feel like we fell from the sky and started doing what we are doing now. So I just want you to take us back to a young Franco, where you grew up, what happened, what you did to get you to the man that you are today.
Well, I grew up in the Western Cape, small town there. I was, my mom and dad and our family lived in a little town called Mamre, along the Western Cape. So that's where I went to school, and in a town next to Mamre called Atlantis. So growing up was very simple. It was basically country living. And I went to school, completed school in matric 1997. And so I was thinking of what to do with my life after I finished school. And interestingly, I filled in a volunteer application, and that's what brought me to Johannesburg from that small town in Cape Town. So when I came to Johannesburg, I took the bus up. So I got out at Parktown bus station, and lo and behold, there I am, and it looks like everyone is rushing somewhere. That's when I realized Joburg is a really fast-paced place, because everyone was moving at speed and I was the only one standing still. So that started my journey in Johannesburg, doing volunteer work up here in Johannesburg. And then I decided, about 3 years after I came to Joburg, that I would like to do hairdressing, because wherever I go in the world, I will have a job to do. People have hair to cut. So I started working at a very well-known salon, started doing my apprenticeship. And my college years were spent going to Germiston Technical College, where I studied hairdressing. And I just stuck to it. With time, it became my passion. I really enjoyed what I did, and I still do enjoy hairdressing, or hairstyling as they now call it.
So when you came to Joburg earlier, was your initial job hairdressing, or there was something that you did 3 years before then?
So my initial reason for coming to Joburg wasn't hairdressing at all. Although I think I had an aptitude for hairdressing, because when I was at school, more high school, I was always cutting my own hair. Getting to the barbershop was a schlep. So I would sort of cut my own hair. And then my nephews would come around and I would say, you need a haircut and you need a haircut. And then we'd get the machine out and I would do the hair cutting. So I think it was always somewhere in there that I ended up doing hair. So it wasn't my initial reason for coming up to Joburg. But subsequently, I then started doing hairdressing. I was for that 3-year period, I was doing volunteer work at the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society in Roodepoort. So that's where I started out. It was it was really something I wanted to do since I was small.
Yeah.
So I spent almost 3 years there. But after 3 years, I realized I can't do volunteer work my whole life. I'll have to go and work at some point. So I decided, after cutting hair in the barbershop there, that I would like to do hairdressing.
Yeah.
And then I inquired, and one of my friends put me onto this hair salon that I started out. Back then it was called Dave and Johan, a hair salon. And I phoned the owner of Dave and Johan Kempen, and I spoke to him. And he was just so happy to have me come on board.
Yeah.
So then I started working at his salon full time, and my studies at Germiston Technical College was part time. So I basically did an apprenticeship where I was working and studying.
Yeah.
And then once I qualified, then the real work began.
Yeah. I want to take you back to when you were still in the Cape. You are young, you just finished your matric. And I'm sure that there were certain things that appealed to a young person at the time. It could be a thing of music, a thing of theater, a thing of, one of those things, because young people are obsessed with those things. So I just want to get an idea. Were you ever, involved or had a dream of, entering those spaces?
Well, I wouldn't say that I saw myself as an actor, or I saw myself in theatre at all. If it happened, I would certainly have made the best of it and lived it through and through. But I think also that where I grew up, our parents didn't really guide us in the direction that we had an aptitude for. Our parents were too busy putting food on the table, making sure we're dressed and we're clean, and we leave the house on time to get to school and our homework is done. So there was no real influence to find out what is this child's aptitude to go into. I toyed with the idea, should I ask one of my guidance teachers if I could study teaching perhaps? I'm glad that didn't work out because although I think I would have made a success of it, it just wasn't me, because with time, as I entered hairdressing, I found my feet.
And not so many people get to find exactly what they're passionate about much earlier. A lot of people suffer over the years doing this and that, moving from one place to the other. When did it really click on your end to say, I feel like this is a part of me?
Yes. So, for me, when I started out in hairdressing, my first year in hairdressing, I thought to myself, Franco, no one in the family is a hairdresser, so I wanted to really make sure that I was doing the right thing for me. And I'm used to breaking the mold. So when I started as a young person thinking of what I wanted to do, I had a few ideas, but also the environment you grow up in sort of almost dictates the direction available for you. Despite one's best intentions. So I'm really grateful that I had an opportunity to explore places other than Cape Town, and to see that there's more that you can do. You don't always have to just be stuck in a rut and accept that is your journey moving forward, that there really is more for you to do. So even though in the beginning I battled with, hairdressing, is it really something you want to do? Seeing the people around me and the examples in my work environment, I realized, okay, this is really something that I can be proud of doing. I can phone my mom and say, I'm a hairdresser, too often to even mention. It happens when I started off in my career. I did that quite a few times, and through the years it happens less and less, but it does happen. And I think that is why they call it, they would ask me, where do you practice hairdressing? So it's called a practice. It's like a doctor who has his own practice, because you're always practicing. You never really reach that point where you're at the pinnacle. Whatever you're doing is part of the practice. So I tend to think of it like that where I mess up hair, it's happened a lot, and I've had a few clients that were very upset with me for messing up their hair, and some of them I've never seen again. So it happens, but it's a learning curve. You learn how to deal with those instances.
For any profession, there's always, more especially where you have love and passion for what you do, there's always a deeper sense of service that comes with it. So at times someone might say, I'm a hairdresser, but there's something deeper than hairdressing. I'm a finance expert and advisor, but there's something deeper than that. Normally, when I'm teaching people finance, I always see what I envision is the transformation that is going to happen in their own lives. When they start now having a good relationship with money, when they can save some money, when they can have a buffer somewhere and invest some money. I know what that is going to do to their being, their family, how it's going to transform everything around them. So when you do hair, I can imagine that that is not the end goal. You want to give people a feeling, and that feeling might be exactly what you have always wanted to do. And at times, we get into certain careers and we feel like we have gone far away from what we really wanted. Maybe you wanted to become a psychologist, and then now you are a hairdresser, but you realize that you are not far from that. You are still doing that, because then people come, like you've said, they offload on you because you give them that, sense of belonging. Sometimes I'm sure people come to your salon and they don't really need to do hair, but they just come, to wash the hair so that they can have a conversation with you. Maybe just take us through just a normal day in a salon. What really happens, the type of issues that you encounter that go way beyond just doing hair.
I read this interesting quote, and it says, your purpose is not what you do. Your purpose is what happens to people when you do what you do.
Wow.
And I found that such a profound statement in my life, because it marks the industry that I am in, and any industry, any sphere of working with people, that it's not really what we do. Being a hairdresser is not really all that, but it is what happens to people when we do what we do. That really is our purpose. And once a person finds that, you might call it a sweet spot. Once somebody realizes through their journey that what they are doing has a profound effect on people, in a specific way, then that is their purpose in their journey. So at the salon, for me, we really try and bring out that ethos, because it's not just being the front of house who deals with the calls when the client phones or who looks at online appointments. It's what happens to our clients when we do that. The experience of calling the salon, dealing with the front of house, and then coming through to the salon, dealing with the hairstylist is as important as all the other things that we do at the salon. For example, at the spot I'm at now, we want to create almost a unique experience for our clients. So we have a butler that when a client walks in, the butler greets you. Apart from the front of house, you'll report to the front of house, but then the butler comes in and he greets you. And then you are seated. He brings you a warm towel, and just to tend to your hands if you want to use the warm towel for your hands. So every client gets that extra experience in the salon. And then the client's seated and the butler will offer them a menu where they can either have a coffee or a tea, they can have an artisanal drink, or they can have an alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage. So it's an entire experience. And then after that, that's when they meet up with a hairstylist. And I'm always mindful that when somebody walks into the salon, it's more intimidating for them than for me. So the most important thing is when a client walks in, make them feel as welcome as possible, that they are as welcome here as anyone else is. So we try and make our experience that we've created available to really anyone, whether they're visiting us just as a treat, to really come and experience the space I'm in, and to do their hair as well. So my day at work really is making sure that the clients are well taken care of, and obviously that what I do and have done for the past 21 years in hairdressing, that I keep on working at that craft, and that I don't become so complacent that I take my clients for granted. Always keep their experience fresh with the attention to detail. In my day-to-day work, it's also a little bit of psychology in there, so when clients walk into the salon, they can feel the experience. We try and make our environment as welcome as possible.
I'm imagining what you just described. The welcoming, the menu, the comfort that your clients get. I'm imagining that you are probably not serving the mass market. It's a niche market. So I just want to know, because most people, when they get into business, more especially in the business of hair, they are looking at the masses. This neighborhood, I can get so many clients and all of that. You took it another step and said, look, there's a certain feeling that I want to give to people. And because of that feeling, obviously it will be high end, right? Did that happen from the beginning, or that is a transition that you made as you got experienced working in the hair industry?
I must say I'm very grateful that I've had the privilege of working in some really good salons.
Yeah.
And that through my own work ethic, I was able to bring in an element of professionalism, or adding to the business in that way. So the salons that I've worked with have really helped me to sharpen that professional edge. When the salon started where I'm at now, it's called Muse and Mane Hair Bar. We're situated in Broadacres.
Yeah.
It really started off as a niche boutique salon. It's not extremely spacious. It's boutique. So each client that walks in feels contained. They really enjoy the aesthetic of the salon, but they also enjoy the way they're treated. They're constantly, when we deal with our clients, it's as if we were waiting for them to arrive.
Yeah.
So no one is left unattended to, and we make a point of always being fresh and friendly and sincerely so. So that our clients can sense that. It's a niche market. It's not a mass market salon that we're at, although we do welcome everyone to come in to the salon. So we cater to clients of all walks of life, really. We have those who have just, they have the means to come there twice a week or once a week. And then we have those who come in, and for them it's a treat to come in, and they come in, they're going to Muse and Mane. So we probably will have them come in once a month. Perhaps. And we treat them exactly the same because we enjoy people. We enjoy giving people that little bit of extra so that when they leave, they feel good about themselves. Everyone is just a person. Everyone is just a person. So it doesn't matter where you go or into which room you step, or how high profile that person or those people are. But the moment you sit down at the table and you just listen to the conversation, you realize that everyone is just a normal human being. So that's always something that one learns through the years of doing hairdressing and dealing with people. And you also want to give people the respect that they deserve, and treating them in a respectful way. So your high-profile clients, you always remember that your bedside manner needs to almost mirror the image that they have of themselves. Yes.
I can imagine it must be quite difficult running such a unique salon. As the owner, how do you then get to multiply yourself to be able to get staff that can do and treat your clients the way that you treat them?
So at Muse and Mane Hair Bar, I really will take it as a compliment that you've called me the owner, but I really am the head stylist in the business and not the owner. So the owner is a group of investors that have created this beautiful space in which we can operate. And in that space, my function as head stylist is there because I have in the group that is there, I have a unique understanding about color, I have a unique understanding about hair, and it brings me such pleasure to share that understanding with my colleagues that I work with, because they're younger than me. And I've worked in spaces where I was able to educate myself on particular ways of doing color. So as head stylist at Muse and Mane, I really just, we focus on the experience. Yeah. So when it comes to other salons, they might be busy. Clients might be sitting there, boom, 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 in the chairs and going through the salon quite quickly. Whereas at Muse and Mane, we pride ourselves on taking appointments only. If a client does walk in and say, please, does Franco have an availability? And I do have time, by all means, I'll do that. But it is put together in such a way that no client feels that I need to rush them because somebody else is waiting to sit in their seat. I really make a point of taking care of each client in my chair and really getting an idea of what the client's vision is for their look. Most of my clients are women. And when they come into the salon, or when a client walks into the salon, I take my time with my consultation to understand what their vision is. And when a client leaves the salon, they often get so emotional because they say to me, I've always wanted my hair like this, but no one could get it right. And that's when I realize that it's not what I do. It's what happens to people when I do what I do. That is just so remarkable. It adds that little bit of spark. So we don't compete with other salons on price point. We certainly veer away from that because our price point is different. But we do compete with other salons on the experience. So when clients walk in, they might find that they're paying a premium, but it's almost an exclusive experience for them.
I can imagine people work hard, and when you've worked hard and you've earned your money, you want a certain experience. And that's really what people work hard for. So when they go to your salon, they want value for their money. And at times, I have used a lot of barbers, in my life. I remember when I was starting out as a young boy back in the village in Botswana. There used to be these guys who have shades by the roadside. And I used to go get my hair done there. At times, you just step out of a combi, and all of those guys are shouting, "Come this side, come this side, come this side." And then maybe there's that one guy that you always use, right? And if the guy's not there, you can get pulled in different directions. One is holding your hand this side, one is holding your hand this side. It became so uncomfortable for me. And then I was like, I need to get to a salon and just ask them how much they charge. And then I realized, okay, no, it was the price was a bit higher than on the street. And then the experience also after cutting your hair, they wash your hair. On the street, they don't. They just cut your hair and then they spray some spirit on you, and then you are on your way. And when you are in the combi, you have hair all over the neck and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't really like this. So I graduated to a salon. And then the salon, they'll cut your hair and then they wash your hair. You come out of there a bit clean. But at times when you are in certain salons, you'll be cutting your hair here and then there will be someone doing the hair on the side. The hair will be blown and the air will be coming to you. All of those things, a bit uncomfortable also. So as I was, graduating, growing, I was like, okay, now I'm moving to this particular salon there. There's a bit of exclusivity. It's not that bad. So you keep on as you are growing yourself also. You just want a better experience. You just want a better experience until you get to a point where you know now that this is what I expect. I go there on this particular day. This is how I'm going to be treated. I'm going to walk out of there. I'm feeling fresh. And at times you just go there, like I said earlier, at times you go there, not necessarily because, you needed a haircut, but you feel like, you know what, I need to think. And the best place that I think at is at the barber. So I'm just going to sit there, have someone, taking care of my hair while I'm thinking. So that is incredible.
I think that hairdressers and barbers really hold a space of importance in our lives. If somebody cuts your hair the way you really like it, you're going to end up following that person as far as you can because you really like what they're doing. The fade is on point, the tint is right there, and they sharpen those edges and the trim is really good. So you look and feel fresh. When it comes to barbers and hairdressers and hairstylists, I think it's such a valuable service. I was filling in with one medical aid company a questionnaire, and one of the questions was, what is the work that I do? And I think they ask you that question over and over again. They ask you a set of questions over and over again, just to make sure, from my point of view, that your answers are consistent. So they asked me, what do I do? And I said, no, I'm a hairstylist, and this is what my work entails as a hairstylist. And he said, okay, what industry would that fall under? Now, they have a list of industries that they would put hairdressing under, whether it's the service industry. I thought it would be under the service industry. And he said to me, okay, we have health and wellness here that hairdressers fall under. So I think we're quite an important industry if, according to them, we fall in the health and wellness category, because we make sure that not only people feel good, but that they feel well after their appointment.
I just wanted to get an idea of, there are so many things that make us. At times it's music. There's a certain genre that you listen to, that kind of, grooms the person that you are. So I don't know if there are any gems that you normally, bump to that really give you that energy from the time that you are young. Is there a particular song that comes to mind?
So I grew up with my father listening to old music.
Yeah.
I think we tend to grow up listening to what our father listened to when we were kids. So he listened to old music, and that's sort of, where every song had a meaning, and every song was like a story.
Yeah.
When you listen to it, the singer is really taking you on a journey with the beat and the words. So I do like just my soft R&B. I love classical music, especially when I'm having my quiet time.
Yeah.
I put on some classical music if I can. I put my earphones or AirPods in my ears, and I listen to classical music if I just need to be alone in my head. But then also there are times when I lean a bit more to the macabre, to the darker side of things. And so then I listen to music that's, even when it's classical music, something a bit more dramatic that I can really journey through.
Yeah.
So I don't have a specific genre of music. I love Whitney Houston. Yeah. I love the artists of that time, Prince. Yeah. And all of those artists, the newer ones, I'm not, they're doing well. Yeah. So my taste in music is really vast. Whatever at the moment really moves me, I enjoy listening to.
Yeah, yeah. I was taking you back to music because I've observed that most of us, where we are today in life and what we do, what we have chosen to do for the longest time, it's a lot aligned with the type of music that we jam to. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine someone who enjoys classical music, working in an environment which is too busy. Everything is moving at the same time, because music tames you in that way. You might not realize, but it moves you in a certain direction. When you are listening to classical music, it's very difficult to get into an altercation with someone and start fighting, because the music does not permit for you to get into that mood. Yeah. So when it comes to just general personal growth, that is one of the key things that are quite important, because in business, things are changing every day. There are new players in the market. Sometimes, doing exactly what you do and exactly how you do it at times. They are moving with speed. Right? How do you constantly ensure that you understand the latest trends, and you engage socially and market in a way that will keep you relevant for the days?
So I really liked what you said, is that there's always somebody who does something better than you do, and with a different flair than you do. Yeah. There's always somebody who can get to the end goal faster than you do. And I think sometimes when it comes to myself in my personal growth, in my personal understanding as Franco, the important thing for me is to have a set of core values that never shift. That is your North Star. So always live your life with those core values in mind. And those values is something that does not change with the markets. It's something that is your foundation, that you can move back to if you veer off a little bit. Yeah. So that is, for me, is so important to have a set of values that can guide you through your journey. And for me, humility is so important. Humility is underrated today because we live in a cutthroat environment. And for me, it's so important to cultivate humility as a strength, because it's so rare. Everyone is dancing to their own drum bass and trying to sing the loudest song about themselves out there. So humility for me is so important. Understand that every moment is precious, and life is but a set of moments that we collect through our journey. Yeah. So every moment, for me, is so precious and important, because as time goes on, you may not have that moment again. So education in the industry is so important. Yeah. Always knowing what the latest trends are. Yeah. So for me, I'm always educating myself, going on courses, making sure that I share that education with my colleagues, and also having a sense of humility that if I don't know something, there must be somebody around me who knows it. So why don't I ask them to show me how they would do it? So a spirit of collaboration in the workspace is very important. No person is an island. And not creating an environment that you have a couple of divas working there. In the hair salon, that can so easily happen, where hairstylists might feel, but I'm the diva, or I'm the this, that, and the other. We're all trying to serve one common end goal. And that is making the client's experience as wonderful for them as possible, and doing that with sincerity, and having a sense of humility about our role, because you blink and you're 47, where I am right now. So life happens so quickly that learn what you can learn, but keep your head down, and just be grateful for the space that you're in, because it could change so quickly. So just for me personally, cultivating that space and finding your set of core values that really feeds your spirit, because in the industries that everyone is in, I think, we're always emptying our cup. We're sharing. We're trying to give people as much information as possible to help them. We're trying to do something to make that person feel good as well. So we're constantly emptying our cup, but who's filling it? So we have to find that space, that routine, that quiet time where I can look after Franco, so that when I look back, the little Franco that I was, the kid over there, I can look back at him and say, it's going to be okay.
I like that.
So for myself in the hairdressing industry, we live in an age where people are called, in the industry, are called hairstylists. I still prefer hairdresser, because you do more than just styling hair. You're dressing hair. Whether it's with color, whether it's with cut, whether you're constantly dressing the hair. So as you just mentioned, our visit to the salon is not just about getting the haircut. That's the practical aspect of it, but it is building the relationship with the client. So that's what I also focus on. We might realize for ourselves that we're really good at what we're doing, but it also comes into play when we're building that relationship with a client, making the client feel like they're family when they walk in. So I should have been Mediterranean, because every client that walks in, I'm like an Italian. I give them a hug and I kiss them on each cheek. So I really enjoy that aspect of making my clients feel good, building solid relationships with them.
So at times we respect who we have become as adults, and then there's a sense that some people might want to maintain who they think they are at that point in time, and then they remain like that. But in the market, it's an expectation by the market for people to continually grow and improve themselves. I always see that as a form of respect. So when I deal with a client and we started working together this year, in 5 years' time, I want that client to see a totally transformed person, someone who has grown. I always feel like it's just showing client that the money that they pay you goes towards good things. But at times, people leave us not because they don't like us as human beings, but they feel like, this guy has been this guy, does exactly what they have been doing for the longest time, but I am growing and I expect them to shift and understand that things are also changing. So earlier on we spoke about difficult clients because you are in a niche market, quite high value. So, and you can't have a huge client base. So every client really is very, very important. So when it comes times where maybe one client is disgruntled, and this is someone who is, who can express themselves and they can go out there because now there's social media to blast you. How do you normally handle cases like that? And how important is it to make sure that cases like that are handled?
I try and always treat it like this. I say to myself, well, Franco, the problem is the problem. The person is not the problem.
Yes.
Separate the two and focus on the problem. And that makes it so easy because it takes the emotion out of the equation. And as a hairdresser, I can be very emotive, and my clients obviously come there because they want to feel something. So if a client complains, immediately I separate the person from the problem and I focus on the problem only. And then I ask the client, is there anything that we can do? Or I make several suggestions that I think might work for the client, making it easier for them to enjoy their experience in the salon. So focusing on the problem. If I am at fault, take ownership immediately. Take ownership immediately. But if I find that there is something else at fault, it's all right to say, I am so sorry that you've had this experience. Is there anything I can do to fix it? And fix it immediately. And so in the salon that I'm at, the client is always the star. It doesn't mean that the client is never wrong, but the client is always the star. And you try and convey if the client is wrong or they're acting out of character, whatever the case might be, I try and handle it in such a way that continues to put the client in the best possible light. So that when they walk out, they say, that hairdresser, he really knows his thing. Because perhaps they came in having a really bad day. Perhaps the credit card was maxed, or the husband stopped the credit card, and now they've got to dig into, so they're annoyed about that. And now all of a sudden, everything you do is a problem. The way you put the cup is a problem. Where the brushes are, why does that thing look like that is a problem. So when that happens, often your own behavior can set the tone for the rest of that appointment. And that's why I think that just reading the room, it's so important when you're dealing with people. And I'm sure in every industry, when you walk into a room, it can take you up to a couple of seconds and you've read the room. So if we can read the room, read the client, and just if a client treats you disrespectfully, treat them with even more respect. Because that really helps them to appreciate that you're really trying to help. You're really trying to find out what the problem is. There are so many times in my career where I've dealt with clients that are just difficult people. You get those as well. Their happiness in life is to be extremely difficult. It gives them a sense of purpose in life. That is their purpose. Today I'm going to the salon and I'm just going to be difficult.
Show them where.
Yes. It's just short of saying to me, do you know who I am? Yeah, there are those.
I used to, when I was still in banking, we would have certain clients who would come and just give you a difficult time. And there was, when I was still young, getting into the industry, I would wonder, what's wrong with these people? What have I done to them? Why are they behaving in this way? Then I realized later on that, which is exactly what you said earlier, just removing yourself from the problem and treating the problem as the problem. I realized that at times these people, I'm meeting them for the first time. And, they're so mad, they're cursing. And I'm like, but these people are not talking to me. They're not referring to me. They're speaking to the services of the bank. They're speaking to the product. They're speaking to, anything that is happening within the bank. They're not speaking to me. I'm not the horrible person. They're not addressing me because they're meeting me for the first time. They don't know me. They don't know where I stay. They don't know whether I have kids, I'm married. They don't know, so I got to learn that at times as people, we struggle to remove ourselves from what is happening. And then because of that, if you fail to remove yourself, you feel like these people are attacking you. They're taking your character. They're taking you as a person. And then you go on attack mode. And that destroys business. And, I love your experience because, in your industry, because you are dealing with, you are basically beautifying people, and that is something that is very, very personal. You make a mistake or two, you've really taken away that dignity and all of those things.
When a client is upset because let's say for instance, I've messed up their hair, and now they're not happy with me. One of two things I can do. I can try my level best to fix their hair, and to get them into a space where they're happy with the result. And it's happened. It happens. This is real life. But the other thing I can do is to say to them, I would recommend that another stylist takes care of your hair. If I can really see that the relationship here is faltering to the point where a repair, we've now reached the point of no return, then I would say to that person, might I suggest that I pull in another hairdresser, and then we can put our heads together, and in that transition, I would step back and that hairdresser would step in. And then also just bowing out gracefully, because things are going to happen. It happens, but doing so, always putting the client in the best possible light. If you can go into the kitchen afterwards and have your word.
And I think that requires a lot of maturity, being able to identify something that you might not be very good at doing, and getting another colleague who is maybe better at doing that thing to assist you. I think a lot of people struggle with that. Like to say, okay, no, I think here I have done what I could do, but it didn't help. But there's someone that could possibly do a better job. And that does not mean that that person is altogether better than you, but to say maybe for this particular thing, I got it wrong, but I know someone who gets it right. Then we get it right. So it requires quite a lot of maturity. Most people don't even try to do that.
Yes, and I think it takes, as you mentioned, that aspect of maturity and that emotional intelligence, to know that perhaps I'm not the best fit right now. And if I try and be the best fit for the next 5 minutes, it's going to explode. So let me leave the conversation.
We spoke social media and the importance of just engaging on social media. For people who are normally dealing with the mass market, they would use it because it can reach out to more people. I'm just wondering, for a niche market like yourself, how important is it to be on those platforms?
So social media for me at Muse and Mane Hair Bar that I'm working at the moment is absolutely essential. Because it allows us to reach people we would not otherwise have been able to reach to begin with, and also to share what we do with them. Although we are servicing a niche market, we do want everyone to come and experience Muse and Mane Hair Bar, because it is a beautiful, beautiful experience, and everyone there just adds value to that experience. Social media is something that is constantly in focus. Every day we have our social media staff member who takes videos, and we have our front of house who is exceptionally good at just cleaning up those videos, making it look really professional. And such a compliment to her, because we've had some marketing people walk into our salon and say, "Who does your social media?" And then I would point to Lauren at the desk, and they would say, "Wow, your social media is really up there with marketing companies." So hats off to her, praise due where it is due. She does exceptionally well. Social media is where people go to when they look for things. When people shop, they look at social media. So we're very keen on our social media posts, showing people a broad scope of what we do, and also giving them a little window into the experience that they can have when they come to Muse and Mane Hair Bar.
Wow. There are certain businesses that believed back in the day that social media was a waste of time. It's not business. They realized much later that
yes.
They're missing out on a lot, because I think social media, it's an equalizer. For anyone who has been struggling to reach out to a certain clientele, I think social media has allowed that, because it doesn't have class. You have people in the low end of the society that are on social media. You have people right in the middle. You have people high. You have people who are outliers who are also on social media. So everyone is watching, they're looking at this and that. And at times, because a lot of people might be a bit introverted, they don't just want to go out unless they know exactly what they're going to get themselves into. So if they see your posts, they might be following for a while, a month or two, and they're like, these guys are consistent. And I see, it's clean there. The people who are going there, they're serious people. And then they'll be like, maybe I need to test it out. I think it has become a really, really beautiful experience over the years for so many, many businesses.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I like that question, because in the hairdressing industry, when we're looking in, it might look like Franco's just doing hair the whole day. And that boils it down to Franco's doing the same thing over and over every day. But in the industry, when you're looking at it from the inside, you realize that I could give somebody the same haircut that another person has, and they would look completely different, because the shape of their face is different, their energy is different. And how do I stay motivated? I think that motivation comes after discipline. Motivation is emotional. And it's so nice to have motivation, because it gets all the juices flowing. You're firing on all cylinders. You're motivated. You're going to do this. But motivation is high octane. you can't always maintain that same motivation over a long period of time. So I find that motivation shouldn't replace discipline. Discipline should be your foundation. And once you have discipline in doing everything because you have to do it, and sometimes you think to yourself, there is no plan B from the plan A. If plan A doesn't work, I am plan B anyway. So I might as well have the discipline and the courage to continue. And as you build up your cache of discipline, or your repertoire of discipline, then you find, okay, the motivation, when you need motivation, it's there. But you don't always drive your car at 120 kilometers an hour, which is the motivation. The motivation gets you there, but it's not practical over a long period of time. So I enjoy feeling motivated for my work, and I motivate the staff that I work with every day. But I also encourage all of us to have our own discipline.
I like the way that you put it, because often at times, understanding the human brain, more especially when it comes to things that speak to our dopamine, you give it today, tomorrow they want more of that. So you can motivate them today, maybe you increase the pay. It doesn't last if the discipline is not there. They want more again, and they want more. You try to motivate, maybe giving prices. Today you've given them a car. Tomorrow they want a helicopter. The next day they want an aeroplane. It never stops. It never stops until the person is disciplined, because discipline then tells you that this is what needs to be done. Whether I'm feeling good, whether I'm not feeling good, it needs to be done. So when you have that, you can then maintain consistency. Otherwise you can't. So I really like how you've put it. And also, I think something that also stood out was the fact that if you are doing hair every day, it does not mean that you are doing the same thing every day, because these people are different. The way their hairs are shaped is different, and how you have to maneuver it is totally different. I know that my guys also, because they do editing, I've always wondered, like, they will sit on a chair for hours and hours and hours, and they're doing this, and every day is cutting this, putting this. But I realized that what really keeps them going is that every day it's a challenging day. Today they are dealing with a different clients who speaks in a certain way. Tomorrow a different client speaks in a certain way. It might look like the same set, but when they get to edit, it's totally different from what they edited yesterday. So on a daily basis, someone from outside, they might be looking at it and like, but you can't maintain this.
Yes.
But for them, they feel like every day it's a challenge. Every day it's a challenge. Yeah. That's interesting. So currently, Franco, anyone, everyone gets a time to unwind, and relax. When you are not doing hair, what is that one thing that you just like to do?
I do as little as possible. So I enjoy my friends. Yeah. I have a small group of friends that I can really call at any time. And so I really enjoy my friends. Friendship takes time to build and cultivate, and to make sure that you're a friend to them too. So I have a close group of friends that I spend time with on a Sunday morning through to the Sunday afternoon. We fellowship together, if I can use the word fellowship. So we really enjoy one another's company. We build one another up. And I think as men, it's so important for us to have that that friendship group where we don't always have to be on point. You know, when you can, where if today I feel like Franco the Kid, I just want to be Franco the Kid today. I don't want to accept any responsibility and I don't know what I'm going to do next. So I have a good group of friends, that just act as an anchor for me. Some of them are my spiritual fathers. Many of them are my spiritual brothers. And that is where I really think I find my moments of quiet time spent. But you touched on a word there. You used the word consistency. And I like that word, especially in the industry that I'm working in. Consistency is so important. And a word that is often misunderstood. Consistency to some people means always just arriving at work at the same time and leaving at the same time, being consistent. But in any industry, consistency means showing up as the same person every day. You know, that when my clients walk into the salon, they don't have to look through the salon and say, oh, is he okay today? Is today a good day to book my color? You know, so when clients walk in, I always want to be exactly the same person I was yesterday, being consistent in my tone of work. And I think that's so important, especially for young hairdressers in the industry.
That is special. That is special. And I've seen that. I've seen inconsistent people in the industry of hair. You know, you come in, you find someone is grumpy. And, you know, it just makes you, as a client, it makes you so uncomfortable. And then you wonder, should I do my hair today? Or should I just tell them that I have an emergency and just dip? Because, you know, a salon is more like a clinic. You know, I can't imagine, you know, getting into a clinic and you find your doctor is not in the best of moods.
Yes. Imagine that.
You know, it's not a good space to find yourself in. So I think that's really good advice for hairdressers. And also I think something that you emphasized earlier around purpose, not being what you do, but rather how people feel after you have done what you do. It's very important. And I've seen a lot of people who do work and they don't understand the impact of their work on another person and the impact of their work on the people surrounding that person, because it goes further. You know, when someone leaves your salon and they feel good, they get home feeling good. You know, their partners are going to feel good. The kids are going to feel good. Their friends are going to feel good because of the mood that you gave. You might feel that you only assisted 10 people in a day, but truth is you've probably affected more than 100 people just by what you did. And I think if a lot of people understood that, including somebody who cleans, you know, the experience that you want to give people after cleaning, you look at it and you're like, I want my client, when they get in there all stressed from work, I want them to feel a clean space, you know, smelling nice. I want them to feel good when they get here, you know. And you might not know it because maybe you clean and then you go, but that is exactly what happened. They came in, they were not in the best of moods. They saw how clean the space was, how comforting it was, and all of a sudden they become better. And then they call a friend, they encourage a friend, you know, they call someone that in a good mood. Yeah, I think that is very special.
It is such an integral part of the work that we do, and is more specifically at Muse and Mane, is creating a safe space for our clients. If they want to offload, they're more than welcome to do that. We have a barber at Muse and Mane that's also like a psychologist.
Yeah.
So he spends a lot of time sort of, while he's cutting his gents' hair, they're unpacking whether it was the day or whether it was life that got to them. And it just makes me realize that our work that we do, and I think it doesn't matter what industry we're in, really can impact how people's day continues for them. And we can add to that in our own little way. And just, when we have difficult clients, always, even if that difficult client is in your chair, continue to cultivate a spirit of gratitude. Always just being grateful that we have the knowledge and the experience to help this person. Even if that person is using us now as a sounding board, we're not the problem, but we're getting it right now. Be grateful that we can be there for that person. We can hold the foundation up, because we know that at the end of our experience with that person, they'll feel a little bit better. Perhaps they would have had a little something from the menu to drink, whether it's a whiskey or an iced rosé or whatever the case might be, that will add to their joy. But the whole experience will leave them feeling a little bit better, and then they'll carry on with the rest of their day. For anyone who is thinking about a career in hairdressing in 2025, it is the best time to start in the industry than any other time before, simply because hairdressing has become so creative in its expression. Anyone from any walk of life who feels that they want to become a hairdresser, now is the best time to enter the industry, because there are so many fields in the industry. There are so many niches where you can qualify yourself. For example, a while ago, I did a course through L'Oreal Professional called Master Colorist. And that course just gives you a different eye on color and a different understanding on color. And so I use that example because young people can really qualify themselves to become such capable stylists and find their niche in hairdressing, because not everyone is an upstylist. I'm dismal at upstyling, so I don't even take upstyle clients. But I love color. It's my speciality. I love cut. It's my speciality. So now more than ever before, hairdressing is a really vibrant industry that cultivates a sense of freedom and creativity.
Wow, Franco. Thank you so much for that. We always like to get our guests to ask a question before they leave. So the last guest asked a question that you are going to answer, and then you will ask a question for the next guest to answer. So our last guest was Sam. Sam is in the business of safety. So he asked, how hungry are you to succeed? That was his question.
That's a really good question to ask, because success is something that I think gives us such purpose and drive in life. We should want to succeed at what we're doing. Is success something that's like a mountaintop that, okay, now I've reached the top of Mount Everest in my industry, where to from here? The other side goes down. I think success is always something that you're polishing, something that you continue to work on in your craft, and I'm always hungry for that. My success is when a client leaves the salon and they feel really good about what they've done, and I become a household name. That for me is success. When they go home in the evening and their husband sees them, and the husband says, "Oh, I can see Franco did your hair today." And that for me really gives me a feeling of success. I've had 1 or 2 clients, if not more, come into the salon and say, "My husband could see that you had done my hair." So that really for me gives me a feeling of success. Every day I can have those moments. If it's not every day, I have them often enough. So success for me is something that I'm always pursuing, but it doesn't make me feel restless. Some people might pursue success with so much ambition that they lose their joy and they forget why they're doing it.
They don't enjoy the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, success really is finding moments in your day-to-day work that makes you feel that I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and I was really successful in how I handled that. And if we can look back over past events of how we're doing things in our work life and in our personal life, we can almost say cumulatively, I'm a successful person. And if there is wealth and money attached to that, well, that's always the cherry on the cake for our hard work.
And we should never ever confuse success with having a lot of money. Yeah, it's always about what you have set for yourself, whether you are achieving it and how it makes you feel along the way. So your question, Franco, to our next guest.
How does what you do impact the lives of others?
Beautiful. So make sure that you stay tuned. The next guest is going to be answering that question.
I will.
And do let your colleagues know that Beyond the Hustle speaks to the backgrounds of people, the stories that build people. And we want to continue engaging people like yourselves who have moved all the way from the Cape to Johannesburg, took their chances, had faith and said, I want to do something with my own life. Those are the stories that we always like to hear. So thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a privilege.
Wonderful.